Hey, sports porchers! It's your hockey Jesus, and here I am with a recap of Game 1 of the Pittsburgh Penguins versus the New York Rangers, the home opener for your Pittsburgh Penguins. I'm your hockey Jesus, avowed Pittsburgh Penguins fan, and tonight was just taking a lot of medicine. This Pittsburgh Penguins team has a long way to go if they want to be a contender. Tonight, they were offered some humble pie by the New York Rangers, who just absolutely gave it to the Pittsburgh Penguins all night long. The Rangers win 6-0. Really, they scored 4 goals in the first period, even though it was only 3-0 at the end of the first. But it was clear by the end of the first period who was in control of this game. Let me break down the first period just a little bit for you Penguins fans in case you didn't see the game. Watch the first 10 minutes. The first 10 minutes is the good Pittsburgh Penguins team that you want to see playing, minus the play of Tristan Jarry. Tristan Jarry decided to wait until about the third period to start the season. I think he was still in the locker room during the first two periods. He absolutely was during the first period. I mean, you can go back and say, hey, Tristan Jarry got off to a rough start and then he played lights out. I think he had 42 shots against him. You can go ahead and do that if you're a Jarry apologetic. The hockey Jesus is not. I will tell you exactly the way it felt. I was at the game tonight. That's why I'm running a little late with this post-game review for my disciples out there in the land of YouTube, in the land of the NHL. If you're a Rangers fan, you're thrilled to hear all this because it was just a great night for the Rangers all around. They scored the first goal about 2.5 minutes in. I think 17:35 was the actual numbers on the first goal. 2:24 in. There it is. I've got the box score up. I didn't take a lot of notes because I wasn't at home. I was at the game. I'm not going to take a tablet to the game because I want to enjoy the atmosphere. Um, and Sam Carrick just had a nice tip. Letang's really got to get in front of him, but I'm not gonna fault that too much on anybody but the fact that the Rangers were just skating. They were getting to the right places. They were getting people in front of the net, and that's what happens. You score goals. Lafreniere scored the second goal. It was a beauty of a goal. It was just an absolutely gorgeous goal. And then the third goal, probably the real backbreaker. Clearly, the first goal was the backbreaker because nothing was getting by Shesterkin. Igor was just lights out the first 10 minutes. The Pens really threw everything and the kitchen sink at him, and he just looked calm, cool, collected. Just after turning down an $11 million contract, you know why. This guy's probably worth $13 or $15 million a year. He was absolutely just spectacular tonight. Had full command of seeing the puck, even when people were jumping on him and getting in front of him. He knew exactly where he needed to be. And I'll tell you, the Penguins really did come at him. I thought their first, second, and third lines, even Glass on the fourth line had some really good opportunities, but Shesterkin saw them all. That Lafreniere goal, Pedersen, he didn't actually. I think he was doing the right thing, but that toe drag, and the way he put that right in the corner, brilliant goal. I hate to say that as a Penguins fan, but I'm going to tell you the truth when it comes to the NHL. And tonight it was all New York Rangers. Chris Kreider got a goal at the end of the first period. This has been the Penguins' Achilles heel for a very long time. They give up goals in the last 2 minutes of the period, last 5 minutes of the period. The last minute's the worst, but the last 2 minutes is just as bad. They did it again, and it was because the first line got stuck out there. And for some reason, Drew O'Connor was frustrated and just the puck was in the air. It was near the red line at the center line, and he just whacked it down into the end. That was a mistake, and it cost him another goal at the end. Going down 3-0 is a much bigger deal than going down 2-0. I thought the Pens had a little bit of pushback in the second period. I'd like to see that. I think this team has a little bit more grit than normal. And but it didn't matter. Philip Cheadle still scored in the second period, and pretty much it was just skating for a paycheck, as the counselor was texting me in the last period. Kreider got a shorthanded goal, which the Pittsburgh Penguins power play looked better. I mean, it looked like a real power play tonight, but some of the stuff they do is just so boneheaded by pinching that defenseman. Letang doesn't have the wheels anymore to get back in time to be able to stop that breakaway. Kreider buried it. I think the New York Rangers are one of the best shorthanded teams in the league, and they made the Penguins pay on that. They made it 5-0. Vinny had to get the obligatory hometown goal in front of all his family. So he made it the big 6-0. Drew O'Connor, let's just talk a little bit about some people that I think need to pick their game up. Drew O'Connor absolutely did not look like a top six forward tonight. He was playing with Sidney Crosby. By the way, Hockey Jesus, if you saw my preview, I nailed the lines perfectly. I had the exact pairs that they played tonight. I'm very proud of that because I can see who's going to play with who. I have a tendency to understand how the pairs are going to work. I told you that I was not a Bolivier fan, and tonight he did nothing but just basically say, "Hockey Jesus, you're right. I'm not very good at hockey. I'm fast." He did have a few shots on goal, but if you're on the first line, I want to see more than that. He's very soft in his own end. Has a hard time getting the puck out. He's not even skating it out. And with that speed, at least he should try that. Don't like Bavillier on the first line. Can't wait till he's gone from there. Drew O'Connor didn't look good, so therefore Sidney Crosby had a really rough night. Um, but I think that's to be expected when Rust is out and they're still trying to find who's going to fit on that other side. Actually, when Bunning was up there, I thought Bunning looked pretty good with him. I don't know why Sid doesn't want to play with Bunning. Probably because he doesn't skate fast, but I think that's probably their best chance with Rust on the sidelines for now. The second line played great. I thought Gino had some jump to his step tonight. I thought he at times he commanded the puck, had really good puck control coming through the middle. But every time Shesterkin was there to stop either the slapper or the wrister, whatever Gino was throwing on him. And the third line with Lars Eller probably was their best line tonight. I think Lars Eller looks great as a third line center. McGroarty played great in his National League hockey debut. I still think Puljujärvi is the wild card here. I would absolutely put him up on the first or second line whenever you're switching those lines around. Rax looked fine on the second line. I did miss him, but he looked fine. Hayes, he's a big body, so he's hard to move, but I tell you, the guy who disappointed me the most, for your Hockey Jesus, was Nola Chari. I don't think he looked good. He got slower as the game went on. I don't think he belongs out there. I would not play him every night. I would not guarantee him a spot on the roster. I know that'll all change when Nieto comes on board, and there'll be other guys to choose from, Lizotte and others. But tonight, here's the lesson that the Pittsburgh Penguins have to learn. They have to look at that game. I would make them go back and watch the game to see how far of a distance it is from the New York Rangers, who are one of the elite Eastern Conference teams, to the Pittsburgh Penguins, who are really going to struggle to try and make the playoffs this year. I think they need to look at this game as a benchmark of how far they have to go. If they are not going to do that, they are actually going to be in big trouble this year. So, tonight at the PPG Arena, the Pittsburgh Penguins put up a big fat goose egg. I didn't even get to stand up. I don't even know what the goal song's going to be for the year because they didn't even get to play it. I'll tell you, it's always disappointing when you go to a hockey game and your hometown team whether it's the Penguins or whichever team that you root for out there in hockey land. Whoever it is, when you don't get to stand up and cheer for your team because they scored a goal, it's very disappointing. But hey, the Penguins are back at it tomorrow night. They got 3 games. 3 games in 4 nights. So they're going to be at it again. They did push back the start time tomorrow. It's supposed to be a 7:00 start. I hear something about another sport called Major League Baseball is kind of getting in the way. I guess Detroit moved their game up to start that thing called baseball at 4:00. So hopefully it'll be done by 8:00. I'm pretty sure Detroit fans, or I like to say Detroit fans, don't, at least the hockey side of Detroit, doesn't really care about what the Tigers are doing. But Penguins lose tonight. They're 0-1. They're at 0 points. Hopefully they'll get back at it tomorrow. I'm your hockey Jesus. Let's go, Pens. And I'll see you in the next one.